What's going on, everybody? Kyle Powers here with Haven Real Estate Group at eXp Realty. K-State grad, turned contractor, turned real estate agent and investor. Today we're here with another episode of Local Legends of the Flint Hills, where business meets community. I've got Travis Tanahill here with me, with the owner of United Home Loans. Travis, thanks, man, for joining me today. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Kyle. Looking forward to a good conversation, and
Perfect.
Let's get after it.
Well, let's dive right in. So, again, Travis, thank you for showing up. Tell us a little bit about you, your business, kind of give me an idea what you are. Well, let's start with the family, right? Let's start with the family. What brought you here to Manhattan? Tell me about the wife, the kids, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so grew up in Kansas City, grew up in Overland Park, ended up coming out to Kansas State for my college career. Actually was able to be fortunate enough to be on football scholarship here, played from 2009 to 2012 as a tight end under Bill Snyder 2.0. So had some great memories there, met a lot of great people, networked with some really good business owners, honestly, during my time in college that have continued those relationships, throughout my work career as well. So played football here, was able to meet my wife, and she actually got to play volleyball here. So met at training table, and fun to have a great marriage, and just have those memories together,
Sure.
where we were both going through our separate sports. So now we have 3 kids, so three little ones running around, 4, 2, and a newborn. So that keeps us plenty busy, running a company, chasing kids around, and family life is good.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, I remember a lot of times when you were playing, but. Yeah, so and you live local here, so you guys have. I know you do a little bit of farming on the personal side, as your spare time is more of a hobby, and a little bit of that stuff too. So I know you've got a lot of local ties to that one. So that's awesome. Tell me a little bit about United Home Loans. Where did the name come from? Why did you decide to start in the business and getting home loans and all that kind of stuff? Give me a little background on that piece of it.
Yeah, initially out of college, I actually got into the insurance industry. So my dad was in the insurance industry growing up, so that was kind of a natural segue. I majored in business, so just kind of looking for some way into the business world, the financial world. I always enjoyed entrepreneurship, business ownership, numbers, things of that nature. So got in the insurance world a few years into that. I don't know how familiar with people are with different business models, but the insurance world is definitely a get-rich-slowly scheme. And we were having a family and just needed a little more revenue. So a friend of mine reached out to me and just said, hey, I think you'd be really good at the home loan side. I looked at kind of the numbers, the math kind of made sense, and ever since then I've been off to the races. So got into that it's been almost 5 years now when I first became a loan officer. And then 3 years ago, we started United Home Loans. It's been a great journey. We've been able to double 3 years in a row since starting that company. So even through these tough markets, we're adding loan officers, we're growing our business, and we're growing our pipeline and getting more and more borrowers into houses.
That's awesome. So United Home Loans, tell me a little bit about that one. I know you said you started that 3 years ago. Where'd that name come from? Why'd you decide to go that direction?
So we're a mortgage broker. So we work with multiple lenders. We have about 12 or 15 different wholesale lenders on the back end that fund our loans and are kind of the financial backing behind us. So one of those wholesale lenders is United Wholesale Mortgage. So with about 70% of our business going to them, it just kind of made sense. The borrower's signing a lot of documents that say United Wholesale Mortgage, United Home Loans. It just kind of made sense, a little less confusion, and because we are basically one and the same. I mean, I have logins to their companies. From the consumer standpoint, you can't really tell the difference. So just from a convenience standpoint there. Also, we do really, really well in the VA space. So, United Home Loans, with that United word, I felt from a marketing standpoint kind of talk to those veterans and those active duty military, because we do really, really well in the veteran space and the VA space on an interest rate standpoint.
Awesome. Perfect. So actually you hit something there. So I know the difference between a mortgage broker and mortgage lender and stuff that way, but tell me a little bit that mortgage broker, let's break that down a little bit for our audience and what that entails for them as the consumer, what that looks like for them, and kind of go through that for you as well.
Yeah, so there's 3 main channels. There's your banks, which most people are familiar with just because you have to have checking accounts and things of that nature. You have non-bank lenders, which is what we call kind of a retail lender, and then we have brokers, which is us. So there's pros and cons to each model. I'm not going to talk down on either of the other 2 models. I have plenty of friends that are in the other channels, and there's plenty of loans that go through those channels that get taken care of well. But we have chosen the broker model just because I think it allows us to service more borrowers. So our underwriting guidelines are usually a little little less strict. So if you do have a credit blemish, if you do have a lower credit score, if you don't have very much money for down payment, we can usually find a home for you. So it allows us to, we have 12, 15 different lenders, they're calling us trying to earn my business. And so, when that borrower walks through the door, I can shop that out a little bit. If we're close on rate, I can go to this company over here and say, hey, we need to be at this rate to get this loan. Can you match it? Can you beat it? So it just allows us, coming from a competitive background, it just makes sense in my mind that to let these lenders compete for my business, which means competing for my borrower's business. So that would be the two biggest things: competing for the business when it comes to rate and fees and price, and then just having a little bit more flexibility to get some more complicated, creative underwriting things through underwriting.
Yeah, and I can attest that too. I mean, we've done a lot of deals together, and I do appreciate how we can go to different stuff and just kind of get some different opportunities and different loans out there as far as that goes too. So, okay, so let's talk a little bit too. I know you touched a little bit on a VA loan and stuff that way. So let's talk about what loans you're able to do and what that looks like. So between VA, FHA, all that kind of stuff. And let's touch a little bit on that. So.
Yeah, I mean, the big four that most lenders are going to offer, and we do as well, is your conventional loan, FHA loan, your VA loan, and then your USDA or your rural development loan. So we'll touch on conventional, we'll highlight each one of those. So conventional loans, believe it or not, I think the statistics are still like 40% of buyers think you need 20% down to get into a conventional loan. Yeah. It hasn't been that way for a long, long time, ever since I've been in the industry. So 3% down if you're a first-time home buyer, 5% down for anyone. So, we're talking $200,000 loan. You're talking $6,000 down for if you're a first-time home buyer, or $10,000 down if it's your second or more loan. So conventional loans, usually about 680 or above credit is where those start to make sense. We can get them through lower, but the hit on your interest rate, it usually makes sense to go FHA at that point, which leads us into FHA. FHA, great loan, 3.5% down. That was my first loan that I bought right out of college. I didn't have a whole lot saved up for a down payment. So 3.5% down was a great way to get me into a house. We stayed in it for 3 years. It appreciated. We sold and made money. So FHA loans a little bit lower credit scores we can get you through. So 580 and above on the FHA route. Obviously, the better the rate, the better the terms. So let's keep those credit scores up. It makes everyone's life a lot easier getting through underwriting. So most places have a 3.5% down requirement. We do actually have one option for a 0% down FHA loan. So it's a 3.5% loan, and then we put a second loan on top of that, and so we loan you an extra 3.5% basically. So it's 0% down from an FHA standpoint. After that, VA, best loan in America, 0% down, and we love VA loans. And in this market, in the Manhattan market, the realtors are pretty well educated, and they like VA loans as well, just because they know that they're great loans and they close on time, and there's nothing complicated about them. So thankfully, in other markets, that's not always the case. A lot of listing agents shy away from accepting VA loans. They view them as higher risk, and that's just not true. So if you're a veteran out there, if you're active duty, don't ever let a realtor talk you out of using your VA benefit. You earned that. You protected us. You served for us. So make sure you use that as the best loan in America. Last but not least, USDA loans. So this is our rural development. Think of a smaller market. So Manhattan does not qualify for it. It's more of a geographical standpoint. But Wamego to the east and Junction City to the west, and then Alma and a lot of the outlying smaller communities to the south and north of Manhattan do qualify. So again, 0% down. There are some stricter income requirements. You can actually make too much money to qualify for that loan. So it's really designed for a first-time home buyer or a modest home. We're not going to let you go build $1 million house on 20 acres outside of Manhattan on that loan.
For a USDA loan.
Yeah, for a USDA loan. So yeah, those are kind of the big four. I mean, other than that, I mean, we've got tons of little niche products that are always coming and going. DSCR seems to be the big one right now with some investment things. Trying to think. Fannie did just change their guidelines, what we like to call house hacking. So you used to have to go FHA to do the house hacking model. Now you can go conventional, which is if you buy a 2-unit or a 4-unit, you can put 5% down, and then you can rent out the other 3 units. So you can live in 1 unit, rent out the other 3, get into it as a 5% down primary, which is advantageous. 1, you get a better interest rate, and 2, just 5% down. You're not having to put that 20 or 25% down, which is normally required for an investment. So primaries, second homes, investments. There's a bunch of little niche products that we get crazy bank statement loans. If you're a business owner and you don't show a ton on your tax returns, but your bank statements look really good, there's some things we can do on that. And with all these specialty products, though, the rate is higher. They're higher risk. So Usually 99% of the time we're going conventional or one of those main 4 products. But for some of the outliers and weird situations, we do have some creative options to get you into the house.
Perfect. So pretty much he can do just about anything that you need. He's got a product that he can probably fit you into. So awesome. All right. So one last thing let's talk about the process.
Okay.
Right. So if I'm a new buyer, I'm just starting to look at a home. I'm just starting to get going on stuff. I call you up or I email you, whatever that is, from start to actually closing on my house, going through the whole process. Let's touch a little bit on that one and what that looks like for you.
We'll try to simplify it into a short time frame because there's a lot. I mean, and people don't realize how much realtors do or how much
30,000 foot view.
Yeah, people don't realize how much realtors do and how much lenders do and title agents do and everyone else that's involved in this transaction. So, more times than not, it seems like the realtor's your first touch, your first point of communication when you're looking to buy a house. That's great. We always recommend that. So when you're talking to that realtor that you trust and that you know, usually they're going to ask you, are you pre-approved? Usually that answer is no. If you have someone, that if a past relationship or a bank or someone that you trust, a lot of times they'll tell you to go back to them and get it. Or if you don't have someone, then they'll tell you who their favorite person is. So a lot of times that's when my phone rings and I get to talk to someone and I like to have that initial phone call, get the 30,000 foot view of kind of what you're trying to do. Are you already in town? Are you renting right now? Do you have to sell a house? Just to make sure nothing gets lost in communication. And then we go over the high level. Do you have a job? Do you have some money saved up? Kind of the big three or four things that if you answer incorrectly on any of those, there's no reason to move any farther. Let's put a plan together and talk again in 6 months or a year. So once I talk to you and you kind of pass that initial phone conversation, you'll fill out a pre-approval link. That'll get your name, date of birth, social, where you work. I can pull credit through that link. So that's how I can get you pre-approved. Again, with that, it'll ask you to upload your pay stubs, your tax returns, your W-2s. We do full pre-approvals, so we want to see all those documents. Unfortunately, I'm not going to trust you. If you tell me you make $5,000 a month, that's great. I'm going to need to see the pay stubs. So I've been, loan officers have been burned too many times, and there's an old saying in the industry that buyers are liars. So you want the house, and we're going to trust you, but we're going to verify it. So, and that's what, it's good for all parties. It's good for the realtor. It's good for you. We don't want you running around town looking at houses when you just can't afford it. And we want to get you into something that you can't afford. After that, you're pre-approved. You go house shopping with the realtor, usually, a week, 2 weeks, 2 months, however long it takes you to find that perfect house. The contract comes back. And now we're under contract. That's when my job really starts, is once we're under contract. We got to order appraisal. We got to get you into underwriting. During underwriting, going to give us, it depends on the complexity of the file, but 8 to 10 things that we have to track down and before we can get cleared to close. Homeowners insurance, updated pay stubs, things of that nature. So, just make sure you're communicating with me or your loan officer, and if anything does change, let us know, because we will find it. So a lot of people try to hide stuff from us, but we're going to pull a soft credit pull a couple days before closing. So if you've gone out and bought a boat, we're going to call your employer literally a few hours before closing or the day before closing. And if you've been let go, if your pay has changed, we're going to verbally verify that you're still employed with that employer. So let us know ahead of time so we can get ahead of it, because no one likes surprises a couple days before closing. Once we get you through underwriting, the cleared to close is a big celebration. We get you your final numbers, what you need to bring to closing, and we'll meet you at the title office for closing. You'll sign docs and you'll be a homeowner.
Pretty straightforward, right?
Yep.
So,
there's a lot more to it.
Yeah.
That's the 30,000 foot view.
That gets us a good idea too. And then understanding where your process starts and ends and all that kind of stuff too. Because you're right. Having a good lender, having a good realtor, having a good partnership between the two is also very important too. So
and communication really honestly is the key to everything in this. And when your title agent and your realtor and your lender are all communicating, it goes a lot smoother.
Yes, it does. So, okay, perfect. I appreciate that. How do we get a hold of you? Okay, tell me, is it social media, email, phone number? What does that look like? How do we get a hold of you? Let's say someone on here watches this video. They say, you know what? I love Travis. I love what he's about. How do we get a hold of you to start the loan process and what that looks like?
A few different ways. UnitedHomeLoans.com is our website. All our contact info is on there. So if that's the one place you need to look, you can actually fill out a pre-approval link directly there, along with we have current rates for the day and other things that you can fill out, and we'll get your information there and then reach out to you. Other than that, in this industry, we all work by our cell phone. So 913-909-0613 is my cell phone. Travis at unitedhomeloans.com. Texting, after hours, weekends, it's real estate. It's a 24-hour business. So that's why we got to work on these cell phones so we can text. So feel free to text, call that cell phone number I just gave you, Travis at unitedhomeloans.com, or head over to unitedhomeloans.com, and all that contact info is there as well.
Perfect. You guys, and I'll tell you this, Travis does an excellent job. I worked a lot of deals with him. He does a lot of my personal stuff on investments and things that way. So Travis does an excellent job. So again, Travis, thank you so much for all that work that you do for me, for my clients and everything that way. So you definitely cannot go wrong with Travis here and his group and his team. I don't care what market you're in, he's able to help you out as far as that goes, especially local around us here. So again, thank you very much. Travis, thank you very much for stopping by today. I really do appreciate you coming in and jumping on the video with me here. Again, if you guys have any questions or if you need anything from Travis, please reach out to him. He just gave you his information. I'll put that in the link below. That way you can kind of get some information as far as that goes. Thank you so much for watching these videos today. If you haven't done so already and you really enjoy this content, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go and hit that little bell so you get notified of any future content. Give us that like because it does help us grow our channel. And please, 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 if you know somebody who is interested in getting a loan or something like that, please share this video with them. Get them Travis's contact information. That way he can reach out to them, get them taken care of, and start in their home journey to really get them taken care of. So thank you again so much for watching. Again, please tune in next week. We're going to have another great episode of Local Legends of the Flint Hills. Until next time, thanks for watching.